Hello there. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of The Business Age. My name is Narengwa Mothoni, and we have an exciting episode lined up for you today. We'll be talking to Ben Karenzi, the CEO of IT Consortium, who is going to be taking us through one of the digital solutions that he has within the fintech space, and we'll be learning how we can also be part, how we can use it, and how it's going to revolutionize how we do transactions, how we do charity. Come along. Ben, thank you so much for making time to speak to us. When we talk about changing the way group contributions work, talk to us about the innovation. How are you doing this?
Yeah, Chango is one way to digitalize what has been there before. You know, in Rwanda, when it comes to umuganda, maybe it means everything. It means everything in terms of how people put efforts together to come up with projects, to come up with development projects mainly. So for Chango is how do we digitize collective efforts of people? And this is a tradition that is very well known and common in Africa and in Rwanda, where people come together in what they usually call ibimina cyangwa amatsinda, with the aim of with collective goals. So Chango is to digitalize how people can come together to put efforts together from a finance perspective. And Chango has, when we are developing it, we are thinking of a number of things, but the main ones that stands out are three. One is visibility, the second one is control, and the third one is governance or transparency. So you know, when people are putting funds together, the challenge is who is going to keep the funds? And why is this person going to be the only person entrusted to keep the funds? So for Chango, it gives every member to take part into that, so that when the funds are put together, every member has the visibility to know if Ben paid on time, or if he delayed, or if he did not pay. And they can see how their funds are accumulating. And by the time of cash out, if they are going to make an investment, let's say if we are putting funds together to buy land and eventually to put a development infrastructure there, then you know by the time you're paying for that land, you know that you're cashing out to pay so and so because you're going to buy this land, or you're cashing out to pay so and so because you're buying cement or you're buying tiles, and then that's what Chango. So the visibility part of it is very important. The other thing is also on the control and transparency, is that when you're doing the cash out, when you're setting up a Chango group, private group, you choose the terms and conditions of that group. If you want the cash out to be done by administrators, if you want it to be done by every member to participate into it, it means that by the time you're doing a cash out, one single vote of no, the money goes nowhere.
When we talk about changing the way group contributions work, talk to us about the innovation. How are you doing this?
Oh, yes. One thing that stands out, I would say, is the power to vote. There might be, but as far as I know, I've not come across any mobile application that gives members to vote for a cash out to happen. So it's that's one key element that is very important. The visibility, the power to vote, and to control the funds. Yes, and the other thing is that Chango also enables the diaspora to participate. So if you are someone who is in the diaspora and want to, and we have had these really issues that have been happening. I may not have specific examples to say this and this, but I know most diaspora people have an issue of how do they follow up on their development projects in Rwanda without their presence. So Chango enables them to be able to follow up on their projects in milestones without having to be here. So the risk of losing money is reduced to a specific milestone.
Okay, could you take us maybe step by step on how the application work and how do you implement the three key areas that you've talked to us about? If I download the application, okay, so how then do I see what you're telling me?
So Chango is available on App Store and Play Store. And if you're downloading it, and the other thing I would like to mention before is that Chango is mainly for groups. Groups, I'll talk another part of it, which is crowdfunding, but Chango is mainly for groups, private groups. The same way you create a WhatsApp group, you can create a group on Chango. And WhatsApp is good for social interactions, but then we are telling our users that also bring the social conversation, come to Chango for money conversations. When you're setting up a group on Chango, the same way you set up a group on WhatsApp, with Chango you're setting it up so that you can, because within the same platform of Chango you can have conversations, you can chat as members of that particular private group. And you can put funds together. If you want to do a picnic, you can put funds together so that you can do a picnic in the future. If you want to support a cause, you can put funds together and you can support a cause. If you're neighbors and you want to contribute maybe to do neighborhood roads, then you can put funds together for neighborhood roads. And Chango gives that those use cases. So in Chango, and you can see who are the members, and you can see how much every person have contributed, and you can also download like a statement of to see when and why this person was contributing as a private group. That is, and I've seen some people using it also as a family petty cash, so that they can put funds together and then they can track the records of how their families are spending. That way it enables them to see where to cut cost or where to increase the expenditure on. So there are a number of use cases. And the other item is that when you're doing a cash out, every member is notified of that group to know that there's a cash out happening. And every member is required to vote if the cash out should happen or not.
Interesting, because I'm thinking in regards to group contribution, trust is a key element, as you said. And now with this platform, it's offering transparency because you can't always go to that person asking, okay, how far? Yeah, so it's good that we're getting the transparency bit of it. As of now, is it only in Rwandan markets? How are we seeing it or even tapping into other markets within Africa?
Yes, for now, we are in Rwanda, but we are also in Kenya, we are in Ghana, and Liberia. And Chango is following the line of intra-Africa payment system, or the Africa Free Continental Trade Area. So we are, Chango is designed to, like I said, is it's innovative because we are trying to digitalize a culture that has been there in existence. But when you look at the setup of Chango, there's nothing new apart from the voting rights. What is, because I was having a conversation earlier with colleagues, the culture of collective investment schemes has been there in Africa. In Rwanda, we call it Vimina, like I said earlier. But if you go to Tanzania and Kenya, they call it Muchango. And you find they have these Muchango or groups. And in West Africa, they call them Susu. And when you see the objective of these groups is to collective investment, really, in all sense. So for Chango, we designed it to address the issue of trust. That because of the more the world is more challenging, trust issues grow. So we wanted the modern world not to disrupt our tradition as Africans, or in Rwanda, the same way. If people can do Muganda to clean their neighborhoods, they can also do a collective investment probably to build their neighborhood roads, or they can do it to probably support someone who is in need.
And as you said, group contribution is a part of our culture, is a shared African culture, not only in Rwanda. When you're digitizing it, then that brings in a change in mindset. Change in mindset in itself does not happen overnight. So has this been a challenge that you have experienced, and how are you navigating this?
Yeah, that's you're raising a serious concern. So far we have seen a couple of use cases that people are using Chango for, and the use cases are diverse. And however, we are also with stakeholders and partners. We are going to carry out an awareness campaign for people to know the importance of the system and what the system can help them with. And also, the other item is that much our culture has been through collective investment schemes. We all know we have successful collective investment schemes that we can see, and we also have examples of what has been going wrong for most of these collective investment schemes. So what the awareness campaign is to say, with Chango, you are almost putting to zero any risk of anything going wrong, and at the same time you're having visibility, and the purpose or the intent is not going anywhere. But what has been going wrong is put aside. And the other thing is also to inform people and to educate our users that it's okay to have visibility, it's okay to have control, and if you trust your group members, it's still okay to work within a digital era, so that so that you can go home and sleep, really, without having to worry whether your funds are being misused or are not going to be used for the intended purpose. So we just we have examples of groups that have gone wrong because of trust issues, because of people misusing other people's funds. So it's to say, use Chango, and then trust issues, there will be it will be no more an issue.
We've seen innovation is moving at a faster pace comparing to regulations and the changes that are being made within the public policy space. How would you say the regulatory environment is? What kind of support have you been able to receive?
Yeah, I would say one thing is that I've observed is like I told you earlier off the camera, we started in Rwanda almost 2 years now. And we went through a control and rigorous licensing process. And one thing I would say, the central bank in Rwanda has a number of requirements to be licensed. And all these requirements to us were also helpful, because it was a reminder of the small details that when you're building a solution, sometimes you forget. And then were also a learning journey for us to be able to perfect the system so that it serves the interests of the business, but also it falls within the regulatory requirements. So it's a journey. There is a number of requirements to be able, especially requirements around security and also around financial stability for the organization that is intending to do public collection of funds. Yeah.
Going into it with our flexibility in mind,
Yes.
The financing of this whole process in itself is quite heavy. Talk to us about the financing bits and breaking even. Where are we? When do you foresee that happening? What are your plans in regards to that?
Some of, I would say, where we are as of today, we managed to raise investor money to put into the company, and so that we can put a stable company and also build resources and put people in place to work for this. And in the future, as we expand, not only in Rwanda, I said we are in Nairobi already, and we are also planning to go to other East African countries. We'll be raising more funds. We have put our company profile within the RDB catalog, which is to attract people who want to invest into our company to come and invest more money so that we expand our business across the region.
How do you make money from it? What or how do you make money from the users? How is the process of transaction? How is it on the application?
Yeah, the good thing with our company is, like I said, is a fintech. So fintechs generally, they don't make a lot of money from a single user. Is a business of numbers. So, and that's where, before you start, we first raise investor capital so that you can build and grow numbers. So we have come up with partnerships with local mobile MNOs, mobile networks, and banks, and Visa card, MasterCard, and the America Express, is to use those as channels, one, for people to be able to as their source of funds to put into Chango, but also for people who are removing their funds from Chango to also be able to cash out either on the bank account or on the telephone. So the revenues, when you're using all those channels, there's a fee to use Visa, there's a fee to use mobile networks, there's a fee to use banks accounts. So we come up with a partnership with these banks so that people can use it, and then in that partnership we have a revenue share on those channels, which is very affordable, very minimal, and so hard to say that we are going to make revenues out of that. But what we aim to do is, the more the numbers, the more the people using our system, then that would define the revenues we are going to get. But at this stage, we're still on awareness and also investing more into the platform.
Okay. As we close the conversation, looking back, what are some of the lessons that you can say you've learned? You've touched on the long-term vision of expanding and entering other markets. Maybe if you could just also take us through, where do you foresee the company, let's say 5 years, 10 years down the line?
One is we want to be the most innovative, and that company that build technology systems that works, and also to add value to our patrons and stakeholders. And in the future, we want to see, speaking of Chango mainly, we want to see that all the collective investment schemes, or IVIMINA, that are private, so that they are achieving their intended goals or purpose.
Lesson learned?
The lesson that I've learned within this journey is that to build a company or to build a product, you have to have an enabling ecosystem. An ecosystem that will, if it's licensing, it's not going to push you away, but it's going to help you fine-tune what you're bringing on the market. You need an enabling system if it's with the revenue authority that helps you to grow, to have impact before taxes are over your shoulders. You need an enabling system where you can find quality employees, quality staff, so that when you're building, so it's an entire ecosystem really, so that when you're building this system, if you're going to address an issue that has been raised by a regulator, maybe you need someone who's going to fix that, and you need that person from a university that trains high quality people. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So you'd say we have already equipped talents on ground, or how would you assess the whole skills? Has been mentioned as a gap in the past, but from your own experience, how would you access it? How would you assess it?
I think I would say maybe 2 or 3 things. One is we have an infrastructure as Rwanda, because most of these systems are built on the internet, and we have an infrastructure for the internet. And 2, the government of Rwanda have invested into the telephone or mobile penetration. So we have a number of people that are using mobile phones and are using smartphones at the same time. On the skills area, there is a lot to be done. There are a lot have been done, but there's still a lot to be done, of mainly high quality. We have high quality engineers and they are still competitive. You find one person is probably working with a couple of organizations for that. So we still need more, and also at the same time, given that we are in a new era of technology, even those who are midlife that specialized in different areas need also to retrain themselves in these digital skills at the same time. So for education and resources, there's still a lot to be worked on, and even at an individual level, to do self-training. Yeah.
Okay, how would you say your solution aligns with the country's national strategy for transformation tool that was launched? And when you're looking at the economic benefits that it has, do talk to us about this.
Yeah, we are well aligned. Last year, I think, the Parliament passed a law on Ivimina, highlighting the importance of these groups, and also with a name to register them and to digitalize them. And last year, there was a new directive from the Ministry of Finance around registration of digital Ivimina that requires all these informal Iviminas to register at least with the local authorities. So with Chango, we are contributing our quota because now it's not only registering them, but it's also putting a flexibility on how to register this Ivimina digitally without having to make any journey or to pay extra cost on transport to find where you can register. So people can still register their Ivimina on our platform, and when they are registered on our platform, it's a registered Ichimina, and so that's how we see our contribution and aligning with the national strategy. And we unveiled for the first time Chango during the national fintech strategy launch in December. So we are well aligned, and that's how we are contributing our part.
Well, there you've had it. Thank you so much for tuning in on this episode of The Business Age. We were speaking to Ben Karenzi, CEO of IT Consortium, and we've really learned how change is coming, how the fintech space is revolutionizing how we do things, how we even do group contributions. As always, you are with me, Naringwa Fiona Mothoni.